Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So thanks for joining me on this one, and it's a review of the new Fall and Rise of Elvis Presley, which is on Netflix right now. So watch it. Let's get into the top 10. Right, so I'm here to review it. What did I think? Overall, I loved it. Overall, as a whole picture, I loved it. Now, let me explain. When I first heard it was coming out on Netflix, I was a bit worried. Well, I thought it's more of the same, which it was. As an Elvis fan, and if you're a big Elvis fan like I am, and like you are if you're on my channel, then you've seen everything there is, and you know everything there is about Elvis. And you could add more into this documentary of the knowledge that we have. We are fans, we know so much. So that's a given. But I saw somebody who was reviewing a whole other movie, and she was saying that she was interested in it because it was a continuation and an explanation of the Baz part with the 68 special. So she had no idea, and she was looking forward to it. So for that purpose, I think this is an epic documentary for people who don't know everything about it and want to know a little bit more. And for that, I think it's pretty amazing overall, and that I think the general public are going to love it, and they're going to fall in love with Elvis if they haven't already, and they're going to discover some things. They're going to enjoy it, and for that I am eternally grateful to have it on Netflix. So yay. Now the one that we went to see with Steve Binder is a more in-depth look at the 68 special, and that came out in the cinema and on Paramount Plus last year. Or was it the year before? I can't even remember. But when it did come out, it was epic, and it was more in depth, and we had Steve Binder all over it. And here in this one, there was only a mention of Steve Binder once, the voice of Steve Binder. I couldn't believe it. And even when Baz Luhrmann was talking about the 68 special, they didn't even mention Steve Binder's name. So I thought that was interesting, but it might be a conflict of interest because Steve has his own in a book all about the 68 special. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it was an overall brilliant piece on Elvis for the non-fan, the discovering fan, and for us fans to enjoy. Now, there were bits of it. Right, wait, no. There were bits of it I didn't like. That I wasn't too keen on. No, I didn't like it, so I did. But we'll get into that. The bits that I did love, I loved how they went from the 50s Elvis and his rise. I loved Bruce Springsteen in this. I thought he was epic the way he talked about Elvis. I just loved it. He really gave that wow. And I absolutely loved the talking heads, the people who would talk about stuff. I loved what they were saying. There was loads of people on there who were saying good things, and I really enjoyed it. And you really saw the exuberance and the excitement of Elvis and when he came to be. Now, there wasn't anything about Sun. I thought that was weird. Like, that was epic. Like Sun, Memphis, the Beale Street sound. We didn't get much. Well, we didn't get any of Sun, which was unbelievable. It kind of just skipped right into 56 and all of this, but I think they could have put that in. They missed a shot there. But yeah, I did love all that bit where they're talking about Elvis and how, and when they did Ready Teddy, and I just loved that. I loved having that on screen, and I loved that people saw that, especially newbies who are like, wow, that's Elvis, wow, that's epic. I loved that. And then we had the Burl, and when Elvis was doing Hound Dog, I mean, you could see the excitement, and that was pretty special. And I wasn't too keen on how they totally skipped 4 movies. Well, we had one, we had King Creole, but we totally skipped Jailhouse Rock. I mean, the first music video. We skipped Love Me Tender and Loving You. So that was really sad that they would skip a whole 4, and Baz did the same. Like, totally skipped through them. And like, totally didn't give Elvis his dues on those 4 brilliant movies that had already set the standard for movies to come later on because they were so popular, and that it wasn't just the movies just appeared in the 60s. So yeah, didn't like that part. Loved how they portrayed Elvis going into the army. I thought that showed how amazing Elvis was as a person who served his country, and how special that is because he was so patriotic and he didn't moan and he just went and did it. at the height of his career. And I loved how they portrayed that and showed that that's a massive thing for somebody to do. So that was really good. When we get back, this is when it all goes downhill for me in the movie section, because they always crap all over the movies. Everybody does. That's what they do. They like to crap on it. When I seen Priscilla and Jerry watching Old MacDonald and slagging it off, well, you can imagine me, because everybody who knows Elvis Lass on here knows that I love the movies. But yeah, that didn't sit well with me. But anyway, so they just go in and they just kind of slag it off. But they do say good things, as in Flaming Star, Wild in the Country, things that Elvis put out that were not musical minded didn't do as well. Elvis Is Back didn't do as well. But the soundtracks did amazing. Blue Hawaii was a big movie. There was hit after hit when it's those kind of movies. And what I would just like to add to that, say all that, and say, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Elvis came back and established himself then as a movie star, and they did well. He was the top grossing musical artist, and they do mention that, give them their dues. But what's wrong with that? That's amazing. Elvis movies gave a lot to Hollywood. They add to the colourful landscape of movies. And yeah, as the movie career went on, yes, there was lesser appetite for them. And that part you can't argue with, because that's the truth. And there needed to be a regeneration, and that happens in everything. But I think not giving the movies the credence that it deserves, which they didn't do in life also, they would just use the profits that they made from an Elvis movie to make bigger budget movies. I thought they could have given more to the Elvis Presley movie star. They did go in towards Elvis being a more full-bodied singer. And there was a little kind of hit saying that, like, Elvis, because he went on the Timex show with Frank Sinatra, that he was kind of like becoming not the rebel and all of that. But these are things that I don't agree with as an Elvis fan. I think every artist has the ability to evolve, and you can't stay one thing all times. I don't know what they wanted Elvis to be. They wanted him to be the 50s rock and roll star, but it wasn't 1950 anymore, or 56. It was now the 60s, and things were changing, and Elvis wanted to change with it. He had evolved, he had changed, his voice had changed, and he wanted to change also. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Elvis's voice in the early 60s was beautiful, and he was just finding his feet, he was just finding his way. And I don't think there's anything wrong with him hiding in the movies a little bit for a little while, because a lot of 50s rock and roll stars did not, or were not able to have a long career. Elvis did establish a long career because he was a multitasker. He was a person who could do so many different genres and succeed in each genre. And for a while, Elvis as a movie star succeeded immensely. People loved him as a movie star. I loved him as a movie star. And I found him. The movie star was who found me, not the musical star. The movie star found me. And so I think his longevity is because he had so many different genres, and he's allowed to be in each genre and be fulfilled, and for us to respect him in that genre, and for us to defend him in each one. So we did have the Rebel Elvis, we did have the early 60s, we did have the movie star. And when it was ready to evolve again, he did. He went into the 68 comeback special, which is not a comeback because he was just evolving. And then we evolve into 70s Elvis, and we have some of the best music of all time, which is another thing I didn't like about this, because it felt like the one guy said, I wished it had just ended after 68 and that he went off the stage happy. Broke my heart when he said it. I was like, are you having a laugh? Are you forgetting what was to come? Are you not here? Did you not see what happened? Elvis was still to give us some of the best music of his whole entire career, some of the best albums, just some of the best things. Like, we didn't even touch on Suspicious Minds and Stacks, and we didn't touch on any of that. It felt like it was just ended on the 68, and I know that was the premise of the show, so I can't really be mad at it. But what was to come was so much more. That no, we don't want Elvis coming off the stage in the 68 and that being it over, because there's so much more to come. And it felt like they were saying, well, we know how the end came. And missing out a massive chunk that I was very, very upset with, and kind of like, oh, that's a drag. Like, why would you not mention the rest? Like, that's the way it is. Elvis on tour. Aloha. Come on. I mean, we've got so much more that Elvis is going to give to the world. So yeah, I was a bit iffy with that. And 361 concerts. Yeah. What? 361 concerts? Are you having a laugh? There's like well over 1,000. 361 concerts is just Vegas. Come on. I was like, that's what the blurb was at the end. I mean, what the heck is that all about? 360. Anyway, crazy. So, yeah, those are my ups and downs of this whole thing. There was many ups, but there was many downs. But the ups gave me energy, made me love Elvis even more when he came out and Trying to Get to You, and they showed it on a Netflix documentary. I was crying when I seen If I Can Dream. And I tried to put myself in the headspace of a new fan or a person who doesn't even know Elvis or like Elvis, but watches this. And I was going in their headspace thinking they're going to just fall deep. Because this man is the most beautiful looking thing I've ever seen. He is Elvis effing Presley. And when the guy was saying on a good day, like that, he was that every day. And yeah, lightning was striking everywhere. And he was Elvis effing Presley. And for that, I'm happy to see it on Netflix. There was nothing major alarming or major annoying or major made me sad that it was in there. So that's a good thing. And so I'm happy that it's going out into the general public and people are going to watch it. And I hope everybody takes away from it how freaking energetically amazing Elvis was as a performer, as a human being, as a spirit, where he came from, his roots, and how he became this larger-than-life character. And he was a human being beyond all of it, who had all these normal kind of life things, but yet had this insane talent to mesmerize a whole generation. And yeah, I just hope that people get that from it and come away from it loving him even more than they ever did. But yeah, as I say, there was a few things in there, and I've kind of discussed them, I've kind of talked at them here, that I wasn't so thrilled with. And there's probably more that I've not remembered. I've only watched it once. This is my first time review, so I'll have to watch it again to take in a little bit more, and just dissect it a bit more. So this is just a first time talk. So yeah, if I've missed loads of bits out, I'm really, really sorry. When I came up the stairs, I hit my head really hard on the side of the thing, and I have like blood coming out of my head. But Elvis review will happen. But I feel a little bit woozy, so I'm going to go and have a seat and chill. But yeah, near knocked myself out. But Elvis always comes first. Anyway, thank you for joining me. If you haven't watched the Netflix documentary, go and watch it. If you're a newbie to Elvis, there's so much more than this documentary tells you. So if you were excited by that, there's so much more. It's insane. And yeah, go and watch it. Tell your friends about it. Let's get in the charts, in the Netflix charts. And yeah, let's book our tickets for the Elvis experience in London, because that's going to be centering on the 68 comeback special, I can see. And yeah, Elvis did continue on after 68, always remember that. And thank you so much for joining me. TCB always and forever. I love you, Elvis Presley. You are the man of all men, and I love you. Take care of yourself, everyone. Keep it Elvis, always and forever. Bye, everyone.